Hello! The Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture brings you Step Up to Kindergarten, a series of interactive videos designed to help kids and their grown-ups get ready for the big step into kindergarten. Sponsored by STCU.
Hi, it's you! I'm so happy you're here with me today. My name's Allison, and I'm an educator with the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture. I'm really excited about today because we're going to take some time to learn all about something called sequencing. That just means putting things in order, thinking about first, next, and last. Let's get started. Let's think about what you'll need today. The first thing you'll need is someone to talk to or to share your thinking with. It could be a grown-up, a friend, a pet, or even a stuffed animal. And the only other thing you'll need today is your big brain. I hope you brought it. It's important to know why we're learning about sequencing or putting things in order. Sequencing helps us explain things. When something happens, there's usually something that happens first, next, and last. And it helps us when we're trying to describe things to others. Sequencing is how we begin to read. We quickly learn that stories have a sequence. Something happens in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. Also, sequencing helps us with math. Numbers come before other numbers, and in patterns, certain things happen before and after. So learning about where something is, its position, and order of things is part of math. Knowing about sequencing will help us in kindergarten. Sequencing happens in the stories we read, in the things that we do, and it happens in nature too. If you think about your favorite story, you'll probably think about it like it has a beginning, what happens first, what happens in the middle of the story, and then how does it end? In nature, sequencing happens with life cycles. Plants and animals grow in a particular way. They start out as one thing, and they grow and change until there's something different. Let's take a closer look at sequencing. When you're thinking about the order that something happens in, it all starts with the idea of before and after. You may have heard these words before, especially when you're thinking about a certain thing that's happening. You might have heard before school or after school. Before an animal hatches, it could be an egg. Here is an egg. After that egg hatches, something happens. This egg became a little chick. Here's another idea. Let's take a look at this picture. I see eggs, flour, butter, some cookie cutters. This is before. What do you think we get after we mix all these ingredients and do some baking? After we mix the ingredients and cook them, we get cookies. There's another way to think about before and after. Here's a picture of a child. This child's getting ready for kindergarten. Before she was a child, she might have looked a little bit like this. She was a baby. After she's a child, she will grow into a young adult. People have befores and afters. Here's another example. Plants start out as seeds. First, it's a little tiny seed. When you give it sunlight, dirt, it turns into a sprout. After some time of getting everything that it needs, it will finally grow into a mature plant. Okay, now we're going to think about putting things in order. And I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'm going to ask you some questions. Once upon a time, there was a swimming pool, and we've got some characters, some animals that really wanted to go swimming. There was cat, there was frog, and there was penguin. When they were walking over to the swimming pool, they were in a certain order. Look at the animals. Which animal is going to be the first animal to jump into the pool? Did you say penguin? He's closest to the pool. He's first in line. Who's next to jump into the pool? Froggy. And finally, who's last to jump into the pool? Cat. In school, many times you might be asked to line up. When you make a line, there's going to be somebody who is first, some people who are in the middle, and some people that will have to be last. But don't worry, your teacher will make it fair so everybody gets a turn. Look at this line of students. Point to the student that is first in line. I'll give you a hint. The teacher is really the first in line. So point to the student that is the first of the students. You probably guessed it, this student right here. Who's second in line or next behind the first? Point to the person that's third in line, fourth in line, fifth in line. Point to the person who is last in line. Great work. Okay, time to practice what we've learned so far. Take a look at these 3 apples. Point to the apple that you think looks like an apple would look before you've eaten it. Maybe this one? That is the first apple. What do you think it looks like after you've started eating it? Maybe this one? That is the second apple. What does the apple look like when you're almost done with it? You guessed it. This is the third apple in our sequence. You are so good at this. Let's try one more. Look at these 3 pictures. Point to the one that looks like it happened first. Then what comes next? Point to the picture that looks like it happens next. Finally, what does it look like after it's hatched? Great work. Okay, are you ready for a whole body workout? We're gonna sing the song, The Itsy Bitsy Spider. Maybe you know it. And we're going to use our arms especially, but our legs a little bit too, to help us sing the song. The first thing you need to know, this is kind of tricky, is I'm going to teach you how to show the spider when it's climbing up the water spout. What you're going to do is you're going to take your tall finger and thumb, and you're going to match it up with your other hand's tall finger and thumb, and you're going to put your tall finger on your thumb of your other hand. And then you're going to twist your hands so your thumb matches up with your other tall finger. And then you're going to twist and touch, twist and touch. If you can't quite do it, that's okay. Just do your best. It's a little tricky. Let's get started. We're going to start with the spider going up. Get ready. Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. This time we're going to try it all the way through. Okay, let's really use our whole bodies this time. Here we go. Itsy bitsy spider crawled up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider crawled up the spout again. All right, are you ready for a brain workout? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a picture. And first, I want you to just carefully look all around the picture. I'm going to give you some quiet time just to think about what you see. Last, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to ask you to share your thinking with someone else. It could be a grown-up, a friend, or even a stuffed animal. If you don't have anyone to share your thinking with, pause the video, go find someone, come back with them, and then press play. Let's take a quiet moment to carefully look and think about this picture. No talking. Okay, what's going on in this picture? What do you see? Do you see animals? What kinds of animals might those be? What do you see that makes you say that that's what it's called? Do you see people? Who might the people be? What are the people and animals doing in this picture? What more can you find? Thank you for sharing your thinking with me today. Putting things in the right order can be fun. Here are some things you can try at home. You can try thinking about a favorite story, maybe the Three Little Pigs, or Cinderella, or the Three Little Bears, and practice thinking about what happens first, what happens next, and what happens last. You can also take a favorite book and try reading it out of order and listen to how silly that sounds. Another thing you can do is think about something that you're really good at doing all by yourself. Maybe you brush your teeth every night. Maybe you're riding a bike. Maybe you're a really fast runner. But Almost anything you can do has steps to it. So you can draw pictures or write the order that you do things in. Like before you brush your teeth, you need to put toothpaste on the toothbrush. Then you might need to rinse it. Finally, you might need to rinse your mouth and put your toothbrush away. Have fun drawing and writing about how you do things, the order in which you do things.
Well, that's all for today. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you learned something new. You're one step closer to kindergarten. The Step Up series has been brought to you by the Northwest Museum of Arts and Culture in Spokane, Washington. Check out our website at www.northwestmuseum.org, sponsored by STCU.